yesterday felt like, to a degree, the Giants were drawing a line in the sand and almost wanting to kind of go to battle with the media. And I'm like, ooh, that's not a battle anybody's going to win. That's not good. You know what I mean? Like, I know we're the same as all of you listening out there, man. We want this to be fun.
Right.
This is Giants baseball. But, like, you can't escape some of this stuff. And so there's two things that happened yesterday. Buster Posey did not want to talk about the pride issue, which as the president of baseball operations, there's a piece of me that's like, I get that. But then don't put Buster Posey out there as the one to speak for the organization. Where was Larry Baer? Where was Greg Johnson? Where was I don't know. Like go to a different spot if needed to address that issue when it needs to be addressed. If that's not in Buster's purview. But when he just puts up a brick wall and goes, we're not talking about that, and then you end up at Rafael Devers' locker, and Rafi is like, so here's what happened, but by the way, this is all your fault. If that's the game you guys are going to play, you're walking a very, very tight rope, in my opinion. Like, I'm sorry, but that's, it's not going to work because you're literally battling with all of the people who are going to write and talk about this and be the go-between with fans. And B, like, let's be real. The media did not create any of this. If you write stuff on your hat, we can all have a healthy discussion about it, but you upset people. They were out at Willie Mays Plaza last night. Our city is our city.
Right.
And it is incredibly diverse, and I want to celebrate the hell out of that. And there's no getting around the fact that a lot of people are hurting right now because of one of their beloved city representatives and some things that happened. You can't just dig your head in the sand and be like, your problem if you're mad. No, because you're an entertainment entity.
Exactly, and you're supposed to entertain the people for whom you represent. And here in San Francisco, it's a different fan base than, I don't know, Atlanta or Boston or, certainly like Dallas, the Texas Rangers. I would imagine that those demographics are different than this one. And so when you're trying to entertain your local fans, your people, you do have to have a certain amount of sensitivity to that. And the thing that keeps striking me is the lack of foresight based on the way this all played out and whether or not they had a conversation. Tony Vitello did. Clearly the front office didn't go in there and say, hey, look, this event's coming up and this is what the expectation is, or this is what we want you to do. And if you don't want to do that, then you can possibly do this. There was clearly not a lot of foresight. And so the players who put scripture on their hat, they just did what they wanted to do. And now the organization's having to deal with it.
It's just funny, man. Without even getting into what anybody's opinion is about anything, have you noticed the Giants keep doing things and then asking for the story to go away? It's kind of what the players did. It's what Ryan Walker and JT Brubaker, it's what they did. This can't, like, this whole thing, the Justice Department is involved now, and all of them were like, there was no discrimination. And I think it was Brubaker was like, I just want this to go away. Well, I bet you do. You started this. Like, you guys are the ones that actually you wrote on your uniform, which Major League Baseball says you're not allowed to do. But, whether I agreed or disagreed or anything like that, like, the first act was you did this. And then it's like, and same thing with Rafi. You're the one, you waved your finger, you shoot a teammate, you avoided a coach, you left the dugout. And then you're like, don't come here and make it a story. Well, you did. You guys blew this out of proportion. You made this a story.
Right.
Oh, how about, hey, was the idea of being pinch run for blown out of proportion? I would argue, Rafi, boy, you blew that way out of proportion. Quite frankly, it was an obvious move.
Right.
Whether your hamstring hurt or not, it's exactly what any manager would have done in that situation. And you blew it out of proportion.
Exactly. So, I mean, that became a story, and it's okay to have an on-field mistake. Willy Adames forgetting how many outs there are, because he's chatting it up with Mookie Betts, or maybe that's coincidental or whatever. But you come out and you say, yeah, I screwed up. I know I can't do that. I have to be better. I have to be more aware. Okay, it's not done and dusted, but it's at least done. And so Rafael Devers ducks the media again on Sunday, and now you come out and you blame the media on a Tuesday. It doesn't make the story go away. And I just wonder about the media training and the media awareness down there, because you send Buster out, or Buster goes out on his own, whatever happened, and you immediately go on the defensive of, I'm not answering those questions. And then the media guy has to step in and say, yeah, we're going to have to shut this down. We're going to shut it down now if you guys don't pivot. And it's like, okay, what are we doing? Let's talk about Rafael Devers. Well, I haven't talked to Rafi. Buster, what are you doing here? And it's sad. And you watch Buster, like the video of it, he looks completely uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's
looking down, and I don't know, like, he's out there, but why? Why are you out there? And he's so uncomfortable doing it.
Yeah, it wasn't equipped. He wasn't ready for these questions, and we can certainly debate whether or not he should have even been the one to go out there to address it. I just, like, circling back to the man, then we're going to take some calls here. The main thing I want to say today, it bothers me when people in big-time sports get mad at our interest. That's what pisses me off.
Interesting.
Because that's what it says to me. You want our interest like crazy when it's going well. You want our money. You want us buying paraphernalia and gear. You want us lined up out to lot A for a Baby Yoda.
Hello Kitty.
Or a Hello Kitty. But as soon as something isn't exactly as you want it, now we're blowing it out of proportion. Now we're not welcome. The fans, the media, or whoever. It's like, that is very disingenuous. This whole thing is silly if you really want us to go down that road.
Right.
The whole idea of sports, which we love, you and I have made it our life. But the whole thing is silly. Like, we're lucky here in the Bay. We've won championships. What happens when we win championships? We go, yeah!
Parade.
And then we have dinner.
Right.
Like, nothing, you didn't get more money out of that. You didn't get, like, you got bragging rights. The whole thing, if you really want to make it about this, which I don't, because it's really about doing things with your family and your friends. Right,
it's about making memories. Isn't that what Buster said?
Absolutely.
Right.
But the whole thing is silly if you're going to frame it the way you guys did yesterday. You're blowing it out of proportion. You're damn right we are.
Well, the majority...
You're wearing tights and hitting a ball.
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
The majority of everything in life is silly and superfluous and meaningless, but we attach meaning to it for exactly what you're describing, which is family. And I go back to the 2010 World Series when I was there with my ex-wife and my 2 kids and Hurricane Gale, and we had seats and we watched, all the World Series games, and those are memories, and those become part of the fabric of our lives. And so you've done it with your kids, and all of us have done it, which is why we love sports. It's memories. And so now, if you're in the memory-making business and something happens that's not a fond memory, if it's Rafael Devers doing the Mutombo finger wag, okay, stuff happens in sports, but you go ahead and address it, and you move on. I'm not proud of every moment I've ever had on this radio station. And I was thinking earlier today about...
Yeah, what's your story?
The fantasy draft this year.
Oh,
so we're doing the fantasy draft, and
share this.
The whole bit was we're either going to call in or we're going to show up. And it's my turn. I think I was picking third.
You were
maybe.
Second or third, yeah.
And so I call in, and I'm in a foul mood for whatever reason. And the Morning Joes, they were going about, hey, dibs is on, whatever. And for whatever reason, and it was my fault 100%, I was not feeling what they were putting down. And so I acted like a complete a-hole, and I just, Jahmyr Gibbs, boom, and I hung up. And
I don't even remember why it started to get tense. What did Shasky say? What?
I don't know what the back and forth was, but I was not receiving their banter in the way that they were intending it. I was taking odd offense, and maybe I didn't have a good night's sleep, whatever. I can't go back to the moment and have it back, but it ends, and I hang up, boom, and I'm like, that was awful, and that was terrible. And about 7 minutes later, the phone rings, look, and he calls me, the boss. He's like, that can't happen. That can't happen. I'm like, boss, I know. I mean, it happened. I feel terrible. So not immediately, when the show's over for the Joes, I text one Joe and then I text the other and say, I just want to say that I was complete horses behind. That's on me. I wish I had it back. I can't, but I just want to reach out and say, my bad. And so that's what I did, and that's akin to what Rafi should have done, which is you stand at your locker and say, yeah, I shouldn't have waved off Jonah Cox. I shouldn't have disrespected Tony Vitello. I made a mistake. I'm going to strive to be better. And then you move on.
I called Nahigian after the whole thing happened, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And he goes, I don't know, but I can tell you that if Dibs came to my house and said, I can't tell you where we're going to go, but we're about to go do damage, I immediately said to him, all right, let's ride. Or whatever the hell the quote was.
Right.
I mean.
Yep. Anyway, I'm not trying to say that I'm Rafi Devers, but, you make mistakes, and when you make a mistake, you own it, and you try to make immediate amends, and you move on.
And maybe he did that. To the story, he did walk up to Tony on the airplane and address it. That's the only part about this that feels good, quite frankly. I mean, even the explanation, if you will, about how it was just a misunderstanding. This was my hamstring. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not it. That can't be it because even if your hamstring was 100%, they would pinch run for you there. It's the easiest A to B baseball thing to do in that moment, no matter what. Your cleanup hitter with big legs gets an opening walk in the ninth, you're down 2-1. There's not a baseball person in history that doesn't immediately go, put the fast guy out there. But you're making it sound like if your hamstring was good, they'd have kept you in. They wouldn't have. And if they would have, we would criticize them for it, because I guarantee you the next guy would have hit a double and you'd have got thrown out at home.
A double play.
It's not about that. And that's the disingenuous stuff that drives me nuts. You're making up a story now to make it sound like it's okay, and then you're turning the finger and pointing at everybody else and saying it's your fault. It's your fault for turning this into a story. And I'm like, no, it's not. All of these things are a story because we're all out of our minds about sports. Your Grand Slam was a story because we're out of our minds about sports.
Bryce Eldridge's Grand Slam was a whole show. Go to
the 95.7 The Game's Instagram and look at me while Bryce Eldridge hits that Grand Slam. I'm a 51-year-old man looking like a lunatic 5-year-old because a 21-year-old hit a ball that wouldn't have gone over any other fence in America. Was that blowing it out of proportion?
Of course.
I would argue yes.
We were watching the U.S. World Cup game, and they score a goal, and we're all running around the studio here before the show. A guy who we've never met, who we never will meet, kicked the ball into a net, and we were so euphoric that we're running around.
We brought pizza and baked goods.
Yep.